I thought I was in bone, dog. I was like, they just don't know it yet.
I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Danny Slab here, What They Want podcast. So you want a painting, maybe you want a t-shirt, maybe you want some tote bags. We got more than that on my website, so check it out, SlaboArts.com. Thank you for watching. Love.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the What They Want podcast. I'm your boy Snow, Danny Slab.
What's up?
I want to introduce a special guest today. Goes by the name of Hurracane, straight from Kansas City. Man, how you been?
Good, man. Good. Thank you for getting me on here. Appreciate it, y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming through, man. For sure.
Yeah. Like we had said, or Smart Alex said too, you was trying to get at me, man, and I didn't know. Like I was just telling my cousin on the way over here, I don't even check messages like that. I should, but I don't. So
Yeah,
my bad.
good.
When
I
he
apologize.
When he first brought you up to me, I mean, it was months ago, and he's like, yeah, this dude Hurricane, we listened to some stuff, and then he's like, oh, wait, he's in Canada.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, well, that might be why he was not responding to your
Yeah.
messages from Kansas City. That would make sense, okay?
Yeah, hey, I was just like, man, because obviously Smart Alex, you mess with Subliminal,
Yep.
with
Yep.
King Kai and whatnot and all them.
Yep.
Was it Jesus Divine's on there too, right?
Yep.
Right, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Hey,
so
Susan King Key. Hey. Yep.
so tell the people about a little bit about yourself.
Man, Kansas City, Kansas City all over, man.
Okay.
Been rapping for years. Started young, listening to my older cousins and stuff, and made me want to get into it. And me and my cousin Player B here, we decided to start rapping together, man, and we dug in and started doing some stuff, hitting up different studios, and it popped, dude. And one day, somebody heard me and hit me up online, and yada yada yada. Next thing led to another. I ended up with a rap career, so it wasn't something that I was setting out to do. It was something I loved to do, and then it just kind of worked out. So yeah.
So it was just your passion in the beginning. You're
Yep.
just like, I'm just going to make music because I like doing it.
Yep. That's exactly what happened. It was, like I said, we just used to listen to music all the time, and we had equipment around us, and we knew people with equipment, so we put it to use, and it took off from there, man. I just dug in one day and kept it serious, and then, like I said, I ended up with a rap career, which is weird. You know what I'm saying? It was wild. So I was like,
I mean,
hey.
is it really that weird, though? I've heard your music, man.
I mean, to me it is. You know what I mean? To me it was weird because I felt my music wasn't good. And people were
because
like,
you're
no,
an artist. Because you're an artist and we critique ourselves.
So
Yeah,
much
yeah.
critique, dude. You know what I mean?
Right, it's never perfect enough, man.
Right.
And it's like, yeah.
So
what
then
do you think?
I started to use my listener's ear and was like, I like that. I can do better than that, listening to other people's stuff. You know what I mean? And then you start rapping over instrumentals and stuff.
Sure.
You grab people's instrumentals offline and you start rapping to that. And I'm like, okay. So Hurricane Chris had a song. And I remade his, and apparently it got to his ear, and he didn't like that. So, yeah. Oh well.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that's when I knew. When that happened, that's when I knew something was going on.
You got something popping when you're
Yep.
like, he doesn't like it because I
Yep. He didn't like it at
I
all.
bodied him on his own track.
Yes,
by
sir.
accident.
Yes, sir.
Well, his career went way another.
It did.
I mean, yeah, that's neither here nor there.
Right.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there.
Yep.
So tell me this, man. How did you come up with the name Hurracane?
Honestly, it came from my cousin, Player B's oldest brother. So I was young. We was in a Pizza Hut, and I'm doing my thing, rapping, because I used to work at a Pizza Hut.
Okay.
And he was like, dang, that's pretty cool. I like the way that happened. And then I got in a fight in that Pizza Hut, and I tore that bitch up. So he was like,
Hurracane. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So, and that to me, that was funny. So I just let it stick. So I
like
kept
that.
that.
Because
Yep.
you came through like a hurricane and
Hey, man,
wrecked it.
things got raw. I had to get loose.
Things got raw and real.
Yeah.
Was that the one on State Avenue?
There was one on State Avenue.
I might or might not have been in there a time or two.
He said it was. That's
Yeah.
ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you and your cousins and all this like that was riding around just playing music, rap music or whatever music it is.
Yep.
But what were you bumping at that time, man?
Early days, man. It was honestly, I'm the youngest of all our cousins. Well, I'm the second, third youngest. So I would always look up to my older cousins and stuff, and I would just listen to whatever they was listening to. MC Breed, stuff like that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Whatever was hot back then, man. We talking like early 90s. So, whatever was out at that time. My favorite, which sounds really corny to a lot of people right now, was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was Fresh Prince. I had his first CD.
Hey.
That's the first CD I learned front to back. Well, back then tape. It was the first tape I learned front to
I
back.
had the CD.
Yep. So
I'm not gonna say
to
I
me,
mean,
it was
he's the first rapper to get a Grammy.
he was.
So,
You know,
I mean,
I give dude his credit.
You can say
Under
corny
any
or whatever, but
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean, he
yep.
earworms on that album.
Yep.
And actually, speaking about that, he's about to drop a new album now.
I heard that.
So we're about
Full
to,
circle, man.
Exactly. Right.
Yep.
So
Full
it's
circle.
like-
Yep.
yeah, he's still doing movies and all types of stuff.
And
So
we're talking 30
technically,
years later, 3 decades later.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe 4.
Wow.
I was about to say, yeah, probably
Almost
4.
4, yeah. It's crazy. Yep.
Yeah, because I think the last thing he
88
came
was that
out,
first Grammy.
That's crazy.
last time he was out was 04.
Time flies, man.
It does.
Wow.
It does. That's what I'm saying. Just coming back, to town and stuff and riding around the town and everything just looks so different, but it looks better. I like what Kansas City did, man, because
We invested in ourselves for sure.
definitely being gone for a minute and then coming back and looking at it, like, it's definitely an upgrade, and I like that because being amongst them other cities and bigger cities and stuff and seeing stuff,
Yeah.
you come home and you think it's, meager and humble, but now they stepped it up here, so I love this.
That's good, man. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, we definitely do take a lot of pride in the more metro type areas where there are a lot of dirty cities, man.
There is.
And
There is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
to
the areas are
Detroit.
rougher now. It's like there's no money being funneled any
Right.
which way to help
Right.
it
Right.
get better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's because Super Bowls and everything started to come.
Right.
So
That's true.
that
Yeah.
revenue's there, so that's gonna pick that up real quick. Mahomes
Right.
brought Whataburger, and I think right up here actually in Leawood, right up here, they're building a huge, humongous event center with like go karts and all types of
Oh,
stuff.
that's
there.
awesome.
Yeah, at the Sprint campus. Where the
Yeah.
Sprint campus is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what's up.
They're talking about potentially putting Royal Stadium over there.
I could see that
Yep.
blowing them all the way up. and
That'd be
building them.
crazy. It'd be
That'd be
awful to drive over there.
Yeah.
82 days out of the year.
Well, and if you think ticket prices are crazy now, wait till you see it there.
That's true.
Right.
You're gonna be paying that Leawood tax.
But if it's coming back in the city and it's making it look better, like I even just landed in the airport, and the airport's way different
New
than the
airport?
last.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I got lost.
It's nice, man. Yeah.
I got lost.
Yep.
I went to Charlotte like 2 months ago, and I got back in. I'm like, where am I?
Exactly. It's so
Yeah.
different, man.
Yeah, and they're like, you gotta go straight. And I'm like, go straight. What? This is I'm like, man, just hit
Yeah.
the button, let me through.
There's corridors and everything. It wasn't never none of that.
I'm like, bro.
Right, it was just 3 horseshoes.
Yeah, it was 3. Yeah, that's it.
3 horseshoes. Which one
That's
is
all
A,
it
B, or
was.
C?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're right.
Which
Yeah.
one you dropping off at? A, B, or C?
Yeah, now it's just huge as hell, and you're like, all right, where am I at? Oh, I'm at a Casey gift store.
Yep. It's weird, man.
That's crazy.
So, since we're talking about different areas, like, you've been able to play in all these different cities. Like, where's some of your favorite places to play? Where's some of your favorite crowds?
Ohio was definitely,
They mess with you?
yeah. Minnesota, really big too.
Okay.
I got a
I
quite
can see
a
that.
big following in Minnesota. Miami was nice. Florida, different places in Florida. Clearwater, Florida, Tampa, Florida. All through there is really nice. Seattle, definitely Seattle, and then a few places in Canada, man. Edmonton and Alberta, Canada. That was a great place to perform. Vancouver, performed at a place in Vancouver. It was beautiful too, man.
Vancouver all around is beautiful.
Yeah.
Canada
It was
all around
nice.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
I really
let's
love that
just
place.
blanket that statement and just say
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
the
it really
plains,
is. Like I
yeah.
went to
I mean, there's a
Winnipeg
lot
and
of
I went to
places.
Kenora. I want to ask you this. This is a side off of Hurricane, but have you ever been to the mall up there?
Yeah.
The Edmonton Mall.
I performed in there.
Did you really?
Yeah.
You performed there?
Yeah. I toured with Tech and I performed in there, man. I killed it.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. I killed it in there.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Time out. Hold on. So, hold on. So that, from what I've heard when I went up there, when I went to Canada, that mall is the people who built that mall is one who built Mall of America.
Yes.
Correct.
But they built like a water park and like a skating rink inside. of that.
There's a pirate ship in there and all that.
It's wild.
Huge pirate ship.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy up there.
I wanted to go to that damn thing.
Yeah,
it's-
I mean,
it's
I was just a
dope.
kid and I remember it being like amazing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I wanted to go when I went up there. I didn't get the chance. I just went to Kenora and then Winnipeg. But they're like, oh yeah, you got to go to the mall next time you come up here.
Yeah, it's the
That
place to
mall
be.
is nice.
That
And
mall
you
is the place to
performed
be.
in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many people would be able to show up at that type of venue?
Oh man, how many people was
I
in
mean,
there?
if
I mean, can you gauge it?
In there, I'm 6,000 to 8,000.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. It's a pretty big amphitheater.
Yeah.
It's pretty nice. Yeah, it was nice in there, man. Yep.
Damn,
I
I
love
don't think
that.
I've ever heard anyone ever say they opened up in a mall.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. They got
Especially
everything
that
in that
mall.
mall, man. That mall's like its own little city.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep.
I've only seen it on Google. so I was like, when they told me, I was like, God damn, this mall is what? And they're like, yeah, it's bigger than Mall America. I'm like, ain't nothing bigger than Mall America. I was wrong. The Mall of Edmonton. That was
Yeah, it's
crazy.
huge.
Yep.
So man, so how did you mess around and get with tech?
So like I was saying earlier, man, doing music or whatever and doing music locally, I picked up a little steam and was on High 103 and was doing all that and got into the little battle scene here and was doing stuff like that. And my friend, my brother that I call, his name's Shadow. He was
Shadow
on
Superior?
Of course. You know who I'm talking about.
I know who Shadow is.
That's my brother. That's my dude.
Shadow is
So
very talented.
he knew some people that heard me via him, and they were like, "You don't have any music on the internet. We got to get your music on the internet." So push come to shove, I start putting music on the internet. A guy from Canada hears me and was like, "Dude, you're good. I like this. Like, I'm getting ready to do this thing. It's really big, and he didn't tell me what it was yet. Just get an album ready, and then I'm gonna pull you with me." And I was like, "Whatever." I put it on the back burner, and then the next thing I know, I get a text from Twisted Insane saying happy birthday on my birthday, and I was like, okay, that's weird. I don't know how you got my number. And then he tells me, like, I got it from this guy named Mr. Licks, was in Canada, who did a song with Tech. He was like, we're going on tour with Tech 9, and I want you to come because I want you to do what you do before he comes on stage to get the crowd ready, and that worked. It worked out, so that was it, man. It was just a phone call from somebody I didn't even know. Like, I didn't even meet him until I flew to Canada. Wow. Yep. Just interaction over the internet, bro. Yep.
Wow. So speak on that though. When you met the King of Kansas City, like, how was that? Because I mean, sometimes it could be. I mean, he's very. I've met him. Well, not a few times, plenty of times.
Mm-hmm.
But he's very humble.
Yeah.
And he's very down to earth type dude. If you get him in the right scene.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So speak on your experience with it.
Okay. So my other side of my family, I have cousins who rapped Southside Posse. So my cousin rapped with them. They were definitely in tune with
Southside Posse, the ones who did the song with Jim Jones.
Southside Posse, yeah. Mm-hmm. Southside Posse. Kansas City Southside
Okay,
Posse.
okay. I'm
Definitely.
picking up on it. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
so-
Everything's kind of connecting.
Yep, I had an older cousin who rapped with them, who definitely knows Tech. So I had my channels. I used to rap with D-Loc and Dilemma. We went to the same high school. We used to all be in the same studio together. 15 years old, 3 o'clock in the morning, just doing our thing. So I had that channel to get to Tech, but I didn't use that. I wanted to use my music. So
100%, right.
when I got to him and explained to him and was like, hey, you know, he was very like, okay, you from Kansas City? All right. Well, everybody says that. So, you know what I mean? And I'm like, hey, man, listen to my music. He's like, well, you know what? Everybody says that. Everybody gives me a CD. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what? We both doing this show tonight. You come out and listen to me. So I tell him that I think we had 16 to 23 shows. I can't remember how many shows it was. It was somewhere in that line. And I was trying to get him out the first few nights, and he wouldn't come out. He just stayed in his tour bus. He didn't even come in the venue yet. Like, show 5, he's like, all right, cool. I'll come out and check you out. So he came out, heard me.
Because you've been livening up the crowd for the first 5
Yeah.
nights, so he's obviously like, this dude's got something. I should probably listen.
I guess, you know what I mean? I guess
that would make sense to me. I'm just reasoning here.
So,
you know.
Well, he also moves. Tech doesn't want to like pop up at a venue because he's the main attraction, and he doesn't want to take away from.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
Good
And I noticed that. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't in a manner of which like I don't really give this guy his credit or whatever.
No,
but
he just gave you your moment to shine and then went to check.
But when he came to hear me, it worked out because the first conversation we had, I'm like, hey man, what's up? You know, I'm Hurracane from Kansas City, and like I said, he's like, yeah, everybody's from Kansas City. I was like, one thing you need to know though is I'm the best. And he's like, oh, you the best? Okay. And he let it go and walked off. So later that night, he comes up to me and is like, hey, I got to ask you a question. What are you the best at? And I'm like, like, what I do? He was like, okay, so what is it you do? I was like, I rap. He was like, so you better than me? I was like, I said I'm the best. He was like, at what? And I was like, okay, I chop, I rap fast. I said, I'm the best at that. He was like, well, I'm Tech 9. Right.
Right.
So I was like, okay, just, like I said, and then those 5 shows came and he heard me. He was like, yeah, you got something. You got it. So I was pretty happy about that, man. But yeah, our first interaction was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really clicked with Chris Calico too, because he was up there too. So.
Yeah, Khaled
Yeah, he's a cool cat.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I remember my first interaction was like I think the KOD tour I paid for like or VIP tickets or whatever the case may be for one of his shows, and like I know his cousin. His cousin was my best friend and stuff like that growing up. We actually went and met him, and not met him, but like I was like, yo, bro, I was like, I was like, hey, I know your cousin or whatever, and he's like, everybody's my cousin.
Yeah,
yeah. That's how he talks. So he's like, everybody's my cousin.
Yeah. But
the funniest thing is, man, long story short, he had a show also out in Lawrence, and we were eating at a Chipotle. Here comes Tech. He just walks in, and he goes, man, what's up, family? What's up? And my friend's like, oh, what's up, Donnie? And I'm like, nuh-uh. No. When I met you, you said that was not your cousin. And he goes, man, I must have been drunk or something. I was like, no, you weren't. This is me. You weren't. But no, that's what he's like, man, I said it about everybody, and I was like, okay, cool,
Yeah.
But he a down humble cat, man. So along with Chris Calico, like I used to be a shoe plug over at Champs.
Oh, okay.
So like I used to get him all the shoes and whatnot.
Yeah.
We need to get Chris. I just reached out to Crystal. I'm trying to get Chris on here.
Yeah.
Because he got stories for days, and I think, just my humble opinion, and I don't want nobody to go at me or nothing like that, but I think Chris Calico was the glue to Strange Music.
You and a lot of others think that, absolutely. There's a reason you guys feel that way.
Yeah, man. Like, I mean, he was really the. Even I see like you jump on Facebooks, anything like that, and like. Tech 9 and Chris Calico make another song together. Like these people are begging for that stuff again.
The Underground on Top, I think, is a thing on Facebook. Shout out to them too, because they show me love all the time too. So
yeah.
But everybody wants to see that happen at some point. You know?
Man, that was a real Strange Music days. And I mean, you couldn't. I mean, I don't know. Like with all of his albums, bro, you couldn't turn on an album without listening to him and Chris Calico.
That's true. Yep.
But to fast forward that stuff to 2025 now, man. Like I was can't remember what it was, but like I hopped on IG one day and Tech was I think live or something like that, or he was doing a podcast like Zoom.
Yeah. And
the dude was like, "Yo," he's like, "Who you looking at? In Kansas City and whatnot?" And he goes, "Man," I'm really paying attention to this boy named he's from KTK. He go by Hurracane, And that's when I was like, I was like. I've heard of that dude too. I was like, I think I know. I think I'm putting 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And then like he said that he's really like paying attention to you and what you're doing, like, and that was back in probably November, something like that, because Tech don't do too many interviews.
Yep.
So I was like, damn, I'm like you really on his radar.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we created a mutual bond, touring with each other, and that was in 2013, so that was a minute ago. So quick story, the song "Speed 'Em." So this is I was invited to be on that song, just so y'all know.
Okay.
Like, and he'll tell you the same thing. Truth be known, I was invited to be on that song. Right. And another person that I can confirm was Rich was supposed to be on that song. So that's the only people that I know so far.
Rich the Factor was supposed to be on Speed 'Em?
No, Ritz.
Oh,
Ritz.
My fault. Well,
Ritz.
I said, how is Rich the Factor going to be on them?
No, Ritz.
I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was supposed to be Tech, Cali, me, Ritz, that I knew so far. Everything was planned.
Lineup. Yeah.
It was going to be nice.
Until Eminem.
Me and Tech, exactly. Me and Tech was on the phone all the time. My wife can vouch for this. He called me all the time. We sitting there talking. He played the beats over the phone and stuff and was like, bro, this is about to be it. And everything slowed down. And I'm like, what's happening? He's like, man, I've been trying to get albums on him. And like, he finally, I was like, on who? He was like, Eminem took the song, man. I'm like, okay. All right. So if I got to get beat by anybody, I get beat out by Eminem.
That's okay, right?
You know what I mean? So I take that as a staple, bro. I take that one. I'll lose to Eminem. Yep.
Gracefully, very gracefully.
Yes, sir.
I'll bow out for
Yes,
that
sir.
any day, man.
We even had an arrangement set up and everything. Like as to who was going in what line, I'm not going to divulge that, but yep.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw that White Jesus skit on one of your albums. And I was
Oh, yeah,
oh,
yep.
yeah, all
Yeah,
right, yeah.
Yep.
Damn, man. So how did you get? Wow. Okay, so speaking about that, from pivoting to the tech and stuff like that, but like, how do you like you got features out this wazoo, man? Like you got Project Pat,
Yep.
which is crazy as hell. Like he's even with our guests that we've had on this podcast and stuff like that. Like he is literally every Mount Rushmore that we do.
Mm-hmm.
People are throwing him in there, some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
You got him. You got Twisted Insane.
Yeah.
You got Gmo Ski.
Yeah.
Gucci.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I haven't even got to the Gucci vein. like, that was like the end of it. But I mean, you got, yeah, man. I mean, really, when you look at it, there's
Busy Bone on my new album.
Yeah, I saw. Oh yeah, I saw that. That was very cool. Yeah.
Damn, yeah, you got the Bone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that one because
Yeah.
like the more and more I've listened to like your catalog and whatnot, like I'm not gonna say it because like I was gonna ask you later on through the episode, but that has to be one of your top influences, right? Bone Thugs.
Boy, when I was 14, 15, I thought I was in Bone, dog. I was like, they just don't know it
Bingo,
yet.
I swear,
Yep.
I'm good at reading.
Yeah. Bro, it goes so deep, dog. I drove up to Ohio and went to East 1999 and stood on the block. We got pressed, but we rolled different, so
Hey,
we wouldn't have
is
no
what
problems.
it is.
So yeah, but yeah, hey man, it's huge influence. Huge
That's
influence.
Dope. That's
Yep.
dope.
I got a song with Busy, and I did a song with Lazy before, so yeah, happy about that.
Get crazy.
I need to. I'm thinking about it.
Get crazy.
I want to do Crazy and Twister together. So
Ooh,
if I can't get both
jeez.
of them at the same time, then I don't
That'd
know
be
if I'll do
just-
it. But yeah,
that'd be
You trying to do
nasty.
Midwest Choppers 3.
I'm trying to put my flag out there, dog.
For real,
you know
bro.
what I mean? Like,
Bro, a banger like that would be
I think I got the talent.
monumental.
I hope so. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm looking to make some generational things, so I have to make sure that whatever moves I pick and whatever features I pick makes sense. It's not just getting a name.
Oh,
I can't
Right.
stand that. Like the Gmo Ski, like you brought that up. That song that I did with Gmo Ski, Hard Headed. To me, I couldn't finish that song. That song is 2 years old, by the way. I couldn't finish that song until I got him on it, and I pressed him. And he was like, "Bro, like I don't even feel like doing nothing right now." I was like, "But you feel like doing this?" And he finally even hit me back and was like, "You know what? Come on, man, let's do it." And I'm like,
Right, let's
"This
go.
is what I need." So, you know what I mean?
That's Gmo though.
Yeah. that's Gmo.
Gmo decides when he wants to move and groove at any
Yep.
given time. I've met him a few
I
times.
appreciate that about an artist, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't have to press no issue by any
Yeah.
means. If hey
We're
man,
not-
you're gonna rock with it, you're gonna rock with it.
Well, and that's the thing. We're not prostituting ourselves either. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah, you're not a commodity.
Exactly.
Your art is not a commodity.
There it
And
is,
We've
yeah.
been talking about that for the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
It's like, viewing people as an artist is, like you're generating something that's bigger than yourself.
Correct. Absolutely. That's actually how I
Touching
feel about
people.
it. Yeah. I want to make something, like I said, that I don't want it to be a flash in the pan. I'm 44 years old. I'm talking about when I started rapping at 14.
Right.
So to me, that I've made myself a career. This is longevity. You know what I mean?
Damn right.
I know people that I grew up with who were rapping that don't have the same story. So I'm starting to finally give myself flowers about it because it took a minute to do that. You know what I mean? It went from a hobby to something else, and I actually opened my eyes one day and was like, "Bro, you made a career. Like that's nuts."
I'm the best.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Hey, bro, you stamped your flag and you stood on it. It's like, hey, man, I'm not moving. There's a line in the sand. Y'all get with it or get lost.
Yeah,
I like that. I love that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And you could hear that all your records. Like, everything I was listening to, I was like, okay, I'm not going to lie. Like, it was very hard for me to dictate something. I'm like,
yeah,
playback. Hold on. I'm like, what? I'm like, what did he just say here? And then, like, you got, like I said, even with the features thing, you even got these people jumping into your world.
I'm trying. Yeah,
You did though on
Yeah.
certain. I mean, like Project Pat and stuff like that. Like that record. That I mean, yeah, he was doing his flow or his iconicness or whatever, but he was kind of like in your lane.
yeah, man. I think it meshed really well.
It did.
And then with Smart Alec producing it and coming up with the right beat for me to create the right theme around, and I was bouncing it off my cousin and stuff before I did it. I was like, yeah, this just works.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
song
like it at
floats.
first.
It floats, man.
I didn't like it at first. I wanted to do some something close to some jugging shit. So, because that's what they do in Memphis. I
Right,
wanted,
right. But you got
I
a
wanted to
floater
give
instead
Memphis
with some
Memphis-
keys and some,
Yeah. That's the
uh-huh.
reason in the song I say, shout out to Memphis. We won't get amnesia. I know what Memphis did, and
I ran
brought
that
shit
hook
up.
back for him. I was like, listen to this. Yeah.
He said, "You hear what he just said?" Hold on. He put it back 3 times. I'm like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Man," he said, "What the?"
yeah.
Right before you stepped down here, he
Facts.
said,
I
"What?"
did.
That's
Yeah.
crazy though, man. So,
I mean, because it like we was just saying, music means something to me, dog. It's not just saying shit that rhymes. It means something to me.
Words of power.
Absolutely. I believe it, man. Like, I didn't believe it before, but words are spells, What you cast out is definitely what you're going to reel back in. So be careful and be wise, be cautious what you do, and make sure you pinpoint what you're going to say. So I try to do that now. You know what I mean?
well, I think that's another reason. Like as a fan, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fan. I'm not an artist. I could never be in your shoes. But the thing is like a lot of people always ask me like, well, why do you only listen to really hip hop?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I can listen to everything as long as it's got some type of a directive to it or a message.
Yep.
But you can't get in my car and drive around with like some my tractor's green or some shit. Like
Yeah.
I just for real I can't like
Yeah.
all jokes aside, like I can't get with it. Like I'm trying my hardest. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just like tripping or like hating on it. Maybe I'm hating, cool. But I can't get to it. But like I can sit there, like I say this with a lot, but like with Tech Nine, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, am I always the biggest fan of like his newest records and stuff? Not really.
Right.
But when my old friends and stuff like that, when I was going through some stuff like King of Darkness, KOD,
Exactly.
like I literally like, and every single time someone got in my car and I was playing that, they're like, turn that shit off. They're like, we know you're going through some shit, and I'm like, yeah, I am. You know what I'm saying? And like, people go back. Like we had a homie last time, Sonny. He was here on the podcast and he was talking about like music, and I asked him like favorite Eminem records, and we were all going back and forth. But I was like the Eminem Show. And I say the Eminem Show because, you got Clean Out My Closet and you got meaningful records on there that, Eminem's number one record of pretty much all time is Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like when you hear that record, it's pretty much it's a motivational song. Mm-hmm. And you, me, 30 million plus people can listen to that record and be like, I feel exactly what he's talking about.
Right. It's got to be something you resonate to.
Yeah, and I think that's why I connect with hip hop so much.
Yeah.
It's because you're right. You know what I'm saying? You're like, dude, like this is my pen. But like that's why like I connect with Kendrick a lot too. Because like even with that Gloria record, he's talking about a girl, but it's really his pen.
Yes.
So it's deeper than that.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. Like us now amongst this age, we built this thing. You know what I mean? Facts. We built this thing together, regardless if we bought a CD or just wore our clothes a certain way or was in a certain area when certain things happened. We built this, and this is storytelling 101.
Bought a lot of CDs in front of the Wax Factory. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
I just drove past the Wax Factory today and was like, when I first sold my first album in the store, it was right there at Wax Factory, so I was happy about that.
That's
you
crazy.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you drive by Seventh Heaven?
Nope, I didn't get over there. I didn't get over there.
It was kind of like that for a while, though. A lot of people stay on the KC side. Some people stay on the Missouri side.
No, I get it, but Seventh Heaven is the...
It is.
Right.
It's
a pinnacle, too.
That's the thing. Like, the first interaction I ever had with Tech Nine was at 7th Avenue. He signed my CD. He didn't know I was a fan of standing in lines, getting CDs signed and stuff.
That's what you do. Yeah.
What CD did you get signed?
Oh, God. I just grabbed it from my mom's house, too, because it was at her house.
Calm Before the Storm?
No, but I did have that.
Probably Absolute Power. If he's at 7th Heaven.
I think it was Absolute Power.
Yeah.
I think it was Absolute Power.
That's right where Tech was like on the cusp of like stardom, and then he's like, I'm still a little underground. So he was doing the whole like I'm a player and I'm a tail.
Yes. And then I used to go to Chiefs games with his older brother and run into Tech there. And it was just like, it was weird, you know what I mean? It's a weird energy or whatever, but
hey man, you
came full circle.
That stuff's all craziness.
Yep.
So all right, man. So the last album you just got done, what's the name of it again?
Biblical Proportions.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
And it's produced mainly by Smart Aleck?
All by Smart Aleck.
All by Smart Aleck.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So man, real quick before we jump into that album, how did you get connected with Smart Aleck?
Word of mouth, ear, Shadow. Definitely being around him and being amongst the people he was around, and I don't know, man. I mean, just in Kansas City, this is a lot that artists like to say. They say Kansas City don't show love, and I felt like that for a long time. But if you step back and look at it, Kansas City do show love. Because that word of mouth moves, and that's bigger and more powerful than anything else you can ask for. I mean, that's why I'm sitting in y'all chair.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That's what we're trying to do here.
I took that for granted for a very long time. So, that's how, man. It was word of mouth. Just, I think I was either getting ready to start the tour with Tech, or I just came off. It was either one of the two, and we just linked up and listened and spent some time together and listened to the music and seeing if it would work, and it did. I did a couple songs with JL and Jesus Divine and Nesto, R.I.P. Nesto, and that worked out. So
Nesto,
that's my good best friend.
Yeah,
that shit tore me upside down. That's crazy though.
Yeah. So that's how we hooked up, man, and it's been good ever since, man. You know, we've done several albums together, and I'm appreciative, and I'm gonna keep it where it's at because I'm happy with what I got. I've done other, projects with other producers or whatnot. I've worked with some people in Minnesota, like I was saying, and I did an album called Life. I didn't really push that album much. But I did it, and it was me getting everything out that I felt I needed to. It wasn't for like fans, you know what I mean? I'm trying to rap this way or trying to sound this way or have this type of feature. Okay. It was just me telling my stories in the most raw form that I could. So
I get it.
Yep.
He might not understand it as much, but I get it.
I was listening to that album on the way here. That was the one thing I found.
I just know just sometimes I just have energy I got to get out in a creative fashion.
Yep. Absolutely.
So speaking about biblical proportions, what made you come up with that title, and what's a vibe like when you're making an album?
So with biblical proportions, the album is a hurricane, which I call myself, is definitely a storm. So when time was created, and definitely a factual situation, biblical proportions would cause storms that would be these things that would change the world. They would change the landscape of what you were doing or anybody else was doing. Right. People had to either jump on or they had to suffer. They had to sacrifice or they had to swim. It was either one. So I felt that when I did this album, I was going to put so much work into it, so many different little intricate details that if people don't catch it, then they're going to sink in it. And if they do catch it, then they'll float. And then they'll make the difference between what I'm actually talking about and the sacrifice that I made to make the album. So to me, there's a lot that goes into it. I used to think that when I rapped, I'd take lines off. I don't know if y'all ever heard that expression. Somebody's doing something and just you say some things just to get a filler, just get to the next spot. So I critiqued myself and said I was doing that. So on this album, I was like, nah, every line's got double, triple meaning. So
every word is weight.
Everything, dog. Like everything. So it took me about 2.5 years to complete it. Like I said, I did the song Hard Headed with G-Mo Ski. That was 2 years ago. But everything else I kind of formulated and went through. And I talk about a lot of personal stuff that people don't really know or they do know. So, you know what I mean? It was something that changed my landscape to me. So that's the reason I chose the name Biblical Proportion. Also, like I said, with the chopping and stuff, if anybody wants to test it, anybody wants to see if they can challenge it, I'm gonna let you see what it is, and then we can do it and
take it to biblical proportions.
There we go. Whatever fate you may catch is what you get. So I stand on that.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
Damn. Okay.
I like it. I like it.
This dude over here, I like it a lot.
I like it.
Damn. Okay, man. So. How did you, man, I have to ask this, man, but like, how did you get the features, man? Because you got heavy hitters on there. So,
Smart Alec has got his hand in the industry, and he's had his hand in the industry for a while. I mean, you guys sat down with him, and, he spelled some of that out for you guys. The Kardashian show and stuff like that, and all these other things.
Okay, yeah.
He's got his industry stuff. So, I linked on my brother, man, and we made the right decisions. There was a whole bunch of features that we could have did that we passed on because it just didn't work, or we thought it didn't sound good. For this next project they were doing, I mean, I don't have any dates or anything on it, but spoiler alert, we got Chris Brown on there. Like, no shit. So,
wow.
Like, we're trying to make sure that people understand that what we do is serious. We're not just doing this; we doing this. And if you're not doing this on this level, then you're not doing it at all. The only other outlet in Kansas City that can say that is Strange Music.
Bro, I think you're the first guest that's really got me over here speechless. And we've done Jay Diggs, we've done big acts, all that stuff like that, but Chris Brown.
Jeez.
We have to, man.
No, facts.
When I was
go home. I mean,
when I was 26 years old, I headlined a show with Bobby Valentino. He was big then. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Midland Theater. Yeah.
Bobby Valentino is dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, this is supposed to happen, so I'm finally letting it happen. You know what I mean? There's a lot of time I just took the back seat and just didn't let it do what it was supposed to do. But I'm gonna let it do what it's supposed to do now.
You're definitely applying pressure.
Hey,
I want
manifesting everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You got to look at me now. Like, he got. You can't even get in the club.
Yep.
Damn. That's crazy. Because
I
I got a homie of mine who, like, I'm pretty sure that's on his top of his fucking bucket list to get him.
Yeah.
You know, and you probably know who he is, but Darrein Saffron.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like he lived his whole life growing up and stuff like that, listening to CBZ. And he's like, man, I'd love to get that. You know, he has all the freaking hoodies and all that stuff like that from his tours. Yeah.
So I did a song called "Speed It Up," and I believe that he sung the first iteration of that song. I think we ended up switching the vocalist to someone else, but believe he was the first person to do that one.
I don't doubt it. Yeah, Darrein. Yeah.
He's just a talented person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He can sing and rap,
Yeah.
do it all, man.
Yeah.
He talented.
Yep.
Yeah, he was on the pod, you know, a few months back, but yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Yeah, man, you got me like tongue tied right now. I can't really get off of this Chris Brown thing. Like, damn. So you got that, and you don't have the name for the new album quite as yet.
No.
Gotcha, okay.
No, we're definitely in the...
Still in creation mode.
Yeah,
Creation mode,
I'm
okay.
moving rocks around before we build anything. So that's where we at.
That's dope, bro. That's dope.
Yeah.
Damn, man. You done threw my whole goddamn thing off.
He doesn't know what to do now.
No, like, bro, y'all gonna see this through the episode.
This fucking guy. I know.
Bro, he just said the most, bro. You gotta think, man. It's like sitting here saying on a pod, he's like, yeah, man, you know, I got Lil Wayne or Eminem on my right. It's like, what?
Yeah.
That's who he is. Chris Brown is that damn big.
I think he is. I think he is, you know? I mean, whatever may have happened.
Yeah.
And
That don't matter.
what? But I
That
mean,
shit,
talent-wise, he's it.
He is.
He's it. And I'm going to take my time with this record.
One of the best
I'm gonna
ever.
make sure it
One of
sounds
the best
good.
of all time to do it.
Yeah.
Ever do it.
Yeah. All right, I want to ask you this. Who would win in a versus? Chris Brown or Usher?
Oh.
Well, that's the thing. I don't. No, I'm not speaking on that.
Can't
I'm
say
not
anything
speaking
now.
on that. No. No, man.
Supposed to
I
say
mean,
Chris Brown real fast at this point because I mean, it's,
man, like
It's hard.
what they did for R&B and what they're still doing for R&B is amazing because people think that's a dead culture, and those two can definitely bring that back. So yeah, if a versus between them, yeah, that's a toss in the air for me. But if I have to pick a side right now, it's definitely Chris Brown because I got that feature.
right? Yeah,
Shout out
that's
Chris
what I'm
Brown.
saying. You gotta just
Yeah,
All right,
said,
here's
yeah.
the next one for you real quick. I'm throwing some things at you real
Cool,
quick
let's do
because,
it.
you know,
let's do it.
Gucci Mane or Jeezy?
Gucci. Gucci.
okay.
Yeah.
Go again.
Watch the old one.
Go again. Keep going.
Let's get okay. If you got DMX or Pac?
Nice. Good.
So what I resonated with more, I love Tupac. My mom loves Tupac. Is DMX. The soul, the passion, everything from the rage to the love and the prayer and all that. You know what I mean? The understanding of who you are and what message you want to get out there. You know,
That
I'm
makes a lot
gonna
of
make
sense.
mistakes, but
It
with
resonates
these
with you more.
mistakes, I'm going to make
Right.
light out of this darkness. So yeah, definitely DMX.
Eminem or Busta?
M.
M?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
No doubt.
They're not even really comparable, but I'm gonna have to ask you it anyways. Missy Elliott
Mm-hmm.
or Lil Kim?
Missy. You see what Doechie's doing now.
Facts.
Yeah.
Rewind
Yeah.
to Missy.
Yep.
Put them two together on a track. Trust me.
Oh man.
Who's your favorite female MC?
To be honest, this is crazy because me and my wife have had this debate too. I've listened to quite a few. I think if Left Eye didn't get cut so short and her piece of music wasn't that small, she could rap her ass off.
I agree.
Left Eye was dope, dog.
You think she's beating Missy?
Yeah, I do. Lyrically, delivery, yeah, she was beating her. Rod Digger is dope. Her delivery sometimes is kind of it threw me off, but lyrically, yep. But yeah, one of the best. I would probably have to say Left Eye could have got to that point, but from what I've heard so far, man, I don't know, man. Like, cause I heard like Remy Ma didn't write her stuff sometimes, and I would have said her in that spot.
Makes sense. All right, so I'm gonna hit you with one, and you can tell me you pass.
Okay.
I think it might be a pass because I kind of know the backstory to this and stuff like that. But Shadow or Mac Lethal?
Oh, Shadow.
Shadow
all the way.
I just remember like back in the day with the battle scene, and he was like,
I know
that story. Like Mac Lethal was like the first one to like take Shadow.
I ride with my brother, no doubt.
That's dope. Okay.
Shadow.
I thought it was gonna be a pass.
No.
Damn. Okay.
No, it's Shadow, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Besides yourself, favorite chopper?
Twisted Insane. My brother Twisted Insane. Absolutely.
I think he does not get the praise that he deserves.
And he don't.
Nope.
No. Kamikaze too. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Kamikaze. Kamikaze too. If you haven't heard him,
Where's
check him
Kamikaze
out.
from?
Minnesota. He's part of Brain Sick. So yeah, check out Kamikaze too. But yeah, Twisted Insane, man.
Twisted Insane. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So who had the best verse on So Dope? I'm sorry, I'm hitting you with something. Hey man, you hit me with this Chris Brown thing, so I'm
going with Recognize. I'm gonna stay there.
Rec.
I'm gonna sit in the middle with Recognize.
All right.
That was calculated that I say that.
Hey man, I had
Don't let him fuck with you, okay? Don't let him fuck with you.
Hey, okay. Hold on. We're gonna speed this up real quick. No pun intended. Yeah. But who had the best verse on Speed 'Em?
I gotta give it to Tech. And the only reason is because M pushed it too far to me. He had to do what he had to do, but to me, he in my thought process, he pushed it too far.
See, I think Chris Calico had the best verse.
Chris Calico's verse jumps it off perfectly.
You gotta speak to me because I don't it. Like, bro, you gotta speak to no pocket. Like, and then Eminem, wait, it's like, what the hell is this? I like Eminem's flow, but like, I thought Tech was like, because I mean, he had to come through. He's like, Flurry of the Fighters, and it's like, you're back again. Like, but it was like
the alliteration was so on point though, dog. Like,
true.
Yeah.
And I talked to him about that. And that was
really,
that alliteration was next level. Like, I mean, when you're a rapper and you listening to stuff like that, and you putting your pen down and you thinking like damn, you link this to that, like that's dope as hell. And what M does, I love what M does.
Right.
But it got to a point to where it was like, I know what you're doing and I know where we're going, but it got to the point where it was like, okay, it's not redundant, it's not hard to listen to, but it's like,
are we still going?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt. So
that's how I think a lot of people interpreted M's later music after he got off the drugs and stuff like that. He's like, now I got a miracle, spiritual. But it's like, okay,
yeah.
When are we done with this? You yelling at me for 30 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's when I stopped listening to him a little bit.
Well, I get it, but like that goes back to the whole thing of like, hey man, like rap is rap. Like it's this is my artistry. This is what I put down.
Right.
And it's not like, hey, Godzilla. It's like, okay, bro, we know you can double tendre with this and do this. It's like, we get it. But what are you delivering? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, Tech, that's why Tech stays through the test of time, because he's still like, oh, I'm pissed off. I got stress relief. Chill. And it's like, oh, okay, I feel that now.
Right.
Like, I've been through my trials and tribulations and shit.
Right. And
like,
I think M wanted to show his range of what he could do and stake his flag, because I mean he did definitely.
Well, I mean, he had to because, like, he's been – I'm not going to say he's been ducking Tech because he hasn't. He's very, very known of Tech. But since the anthem –
absolutely.
You know, they haven't been on a track together. So when M was like, all right, I'm finally going to do it, boom, there it is.
Yep.
You know, it's like – I'm not going to say M was ducking Tech because he wasn't. I don't know all that stuff. But the thing is like, you can't just get on a track with Tech and just be like, you know, it is what it is. Cause,
no, you gotta show out.
Yeah, because Wiz Khalifa did that, and no one knows how that record was.
That's a callback.
Yeah, that was actually the tour that I think you were on.
Something else tour. Yep.
Yeah, because he dropped something, or it was like With Me or something like that. It was a track with Wiz Khalifa and B.O.B.
Yeah,
that shit went. I was like, damn, that didn't hit.
Some, you know.
Yeah, it hits and sometimes it do.
Don't.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. All right, man. So as we start to wrap this thing up, as I hit you with all these questions and whatnot, I got to hit you with two more.
Okay.
So as I said, we were gonna do it later in the episode, but give us your Mount Rushmore
of hip hop, or
let's do choppers.
Choppers. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. 4 spots. So they're not gonna be in any particular order.
All good.
But definitely Twisted Insane's there.
Okay.
He's got to be there. Twisted's got to be there.
Yep.
Crazy Bone's got to be there. And the last one I got to give to Tech 9. You know, I do. Thanks. I mean, because everybody else that falls under those umbrellas is
started from one of those.
Yeah, mainly some of my peers, you know what I mean, and myself. So I would have to say them 4. Those 4 are the ones that set the bar and keep that bar up there to where people are still climbing to get to. You know what I mean?
Facts.
And doing it at a high enough level to where the normal person who won't listen to chopper music would listen to it and be like, I like this song. You know what I mean? And to me, that's when you've done your job. When somebody who doesn't really listen to your type of music would be like, that's
wow, this is intriguing, right?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like, something about it is interesting.
And then if you think about it, you go back and listen to the features that those guys have done. Those 4, they pull in so many different worlds, and then hip hop gets bigger. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's what we need, man. We need stuff like that. So
the cross genre blending and all that stuff.
So shout out to those guys. Like you hear Kendrick Lamar twisting and chopping a little bit more because of the time he spent around Tech and Kansas City and those artists and different stuff, and we see that out in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Biggest hip hop artist in the world at this moment in time. He's doing what I love to do, so I'm happy with that.
Right in your lane. So it's you never know.
Shit, I hope.
Hey, don't hope. Take it, put it up.
Speak it into fruition, man. Words have power.
This motherfucker got Chris Brown. Next thing is Lamar. Next episode with him when he comes back, we'll be like, hey man, who you got? K Dot. It's like flat line.
Boy, that'd be nice.
Hey man, it's not gonna be nice. It's gonna happen. You gotta just put it out there. So man,
just when.
Yeah,
that's the question.
It's when. So speak on real quick your influences. You said we said Bone Thugs and Harmony early in the episode, but who's the influences of you? Who made Hurracane who he is today?
Like I said, man, in the beginning, a lot of it's family based. I'm watching my cousins, you know, live life and do things and want better, and not just for themselves, but want better for the others around them. So influences me being a man, definitely my older brother, definitely my older cousins. They say it takes a community, and a lot of us don't really believe that until we actually look back at our stories and we see what took to get us where we are and who we are. And that really resonates with me really big. So music influence, definitely Bone Thugs and Harmony, Tech 9, Twista, and mistakes. Not a person, but an influence is making mistakes. Understanding what a loss is and understanding what to do with that loss. Because I've been through some doing this music stuff. Some my fault, some not my fault.
You have to realize what's under your control and what isn't.
There it is.
And where the difference is and what you can't.
It is, you know.
Stop spinning wheels about stuff that you can't do anything about.
Yep. That makes us take different paths. Some of us are scared step over that hurdle. You know what I mean? Some of us run around it and end up right back in the same spot. You run in a circle. Some of us decide, this is where I need to go. This is what I'm going to do.
Change is hard.
Yeah. So, mistakes would be one of my biggest influences.
That's dope as
I
fuck.
respect that. Yeah,
That's dope as hell. I like that a lot. So, man,
Ask him the last question, baby.
I'm gonna ask you the last question. I'm going. All right. So, obviously we got you on the pod. Obviously from Smart Aleck and whatnot. Shout out to Smart.
Thank you, Smart.
Yep.
Thank you, bro.
Yep. Of course. So, who would you want to get on the pod next? And if so, you gotta help us get them.
If you guys have not had Shadow Superior, I would love to see you guys get my brother Shadow Superior.
That'd be dope.
You talk about some stories in hip hop and the things that he's been through, and like I said, he got me out further, so I always give my brother credit. But if you can't get him, get Scarecrow.
Those are pretty two good list.
Scarecrow?
If I'm
Scarecrow.
Yeah. If I'm picking up on one of them, yeah.
Dang.
All right.
That'd be cool.
Well, there you go. Hey, Shadow. Hey, Scarecrow. Hey, come on. Hop on the pod.
Shit right here.
It's over here. All right, man. Well, tell the people where they can find you at. All music, socials, all that stuff.
So, Biblical Proportions is out now on all streaming platforms. Hurracane Music, go on Facebook, go on any social media. Mostly Smart Aleck runs some of my social media, so I don't know everything I'm on.
Links will be in the bio.
Links, yeah. So
We'll contact Smart.
I'm not a super social media person, but I dabble a little bit.
I'll plug them in the bio. Don't worry.
Thank you, appreciate that.
And they'll be down below too.
There it is.
Yep.
YouTube, Hurracane Music, YouTube. Go on there, find it. I got so many different places to find music on there. But search for it. It's part of the game. You know what I mean? And I know you'll be happy when you catch it. So
There you go.
Yeah.
I definitely was. I definitely was. And he can attest.
Definitely was. He was. So, all right, man. Well, once again, man, us, what they want, and stuff like that. Greatly appreciate you doing this because it was definitely on a humbug. So we greatly appreciate you stopping by the pod because it's dope as hell.
I appreciate y'all.
Especially the gems you just dropped,
Man.
with the mistakes, all that stuff. Like, greatly appreciate your time being here.
Thank you, man. I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah, man.
No other way.
I appreciate you for real. All right, man. Well, there y'all have it, man. What They Want podcast. I'm your boy Snow.
Danny Slab.
We're back with Hurracane. Till next time, y'all.
I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want.